What is up, everyone? It is BrickLover18 here today, and welcome back to episode number 72 of Ask Brick. Ask Brick is my Q&A show here on YouTube and across all my social media platforms where you guys ask me questions about LEGO down in the comments below, and I answer them up here on video. Today we've got some pretty spicy LEGO questions, including what the hell is going on with BrickLink and LEGO. I'll be talking all about sorting my LEGO parts collection and the progress updates, as well as the tax man and how he takes way too much of my money. I'm really excited to answer these questions, so let's just jump right into it. The first question is from Janet Letter 9925. Ask Brick, did you hear that LEGO and BrickLink got hacked big time? So this has been all the news stories from the first week of November. So from November 2nd to November 11th, I was actually out of the country. I was in Africa traveling, and I closed my BrickLink store because I wasn't going to be here to place orders, and literally all hell broke loose, I think on the 1st or the 2nd of November. I started getting DMs from people in the community because I wasn't really active on my phone, like checking my LEGO accounts. So I was getting DMs from people, and then I looked on Reddit and I looked on all the news sites, and it was pretty crazy to see what's going on. So for those of you who don't know the lore on the story, basically there were some messages posted to the BrickLink forums kind of explaining that they have hacked BrickLink and then they will be deleting accounts, inventories, and yada yada yada. BrickLink then pretty much went into maintenance mode and really kept everybody in the dark. They posted this update here that said, Stormtrooper is not a maintenance man. We are currently investigating some unusual activity, so it's too early to speculate further. We will share more information once it's available. That was pretty much posted to their site right away, I believe on November 3rd or November 4th, when the actual event happened. On November 5th, they then posted on their Instagram, on Friday, November 3rd, we had to close the BrickLink site temporarily due to unusual activity. We are still working hard to make sure we can reopen as soon as possible, and we are getting closer to do that. Thank you for your patience and support. We are grateful to have such amazing members. And then again on November 7th, they posted, thank you for your patient and kind support. It means so much to our team. We are getting ready to reopen BrickLink very soon. We look forward to seeing you back on the site. And then finally on November 8th, 2023, BrickLink reopened. So they said, dear amazing BrickLink members, we are happy to tell you that BrickLink reopened today. Some of you received emails with directions on how to reopen your account because they basically locked everyone's account and made them change their password. Please go to BrickLink and follow the directions. They also say keep up some good safety practices. Once you're back on site, you can read more about what happened on the forum. You're very relieved and a bit tired, BrickLink team. And all the comments on this last post were really thankful. Like even Chris from Bricks on the Dollar was like, me and my 26 employees, thank you. So it's pretty crazy about the BrickLink team. So for starters, I had a little bit of a criticism on how they handled their PR and their crisis with this. I thought they really kept a lot of the community in the dark. Like when the site initially went down, it took them, 5-6 days to get it back online. And during that time, they were just being like, there's some unusual activities, which just led everybody speculating what was happening. They probably didn't know information, but when they said we're working on something, we'll get back soon, they never really addressed everyone's concerns about data or money or inventory and things like that. And it was very, very challenging. So I think they could have handled the crisis a little bit more. I think they could have posted a few more updates instead of just pretending like it was a regular scheduling maintenance at first. But that's my criticism. Again, I was out of the country, so the timeline is so fuzzy to me. I was looking at things 6 hours different than when they were being posted in Eastern time, but it was a whole pretty crazy story. My store was closed during that time, so it didn't matter for me. And I know people were furious because they sent out the seller invoices during that time and nobody could even go on the site to pay it. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. So yes, I did hear about BrickLink being hacked. Because I was traveling, I was not going to be purchasing anything, and I had my store closed, so I wasn't going to be missing any orders and stuff like that. But there were many other people out there who were not so fortunate, so BrickLink closing for them was pretty crazy. But it's good that BrickLink is back online. Thank you to everybody who messaged me and kept me updated about what was going on. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy time, and I think this just goes to show that all sites and stuff like that should probably have a better PR plan for when something like this is going to happen. Like BrickLink really, in my opinion, kept people in the dark. I wanted to know if BrickLink got hacked, and I just saw their site was down for maintenance. There was nothing on their social media or anything like that. So they definitely could work on that, but I'm glad they got the site back open. Hopefully they're taking steps that this doesn't happen again, because I think they probably realized how vulnerable they could have been to an attack like this. And this is any organization, not just BrickLink, which who did a great job getting the site back and minimizing the damage, but if LEGO had a hack, or if any of these other big platforms had a hack, especially e-commerce platforms that people rely on. Shopify, for example. What if Shopify had a hack and had to pull their site for maintenance and everybody's Shopify sites were impacted? Like, that would be a huge deal. So these sites that people rely on for their income mine being YouTube, if YouTube got hacked and they had to put the site in maintenance mode, I'd be screwed for a few days with my entire income gone. So these sites need to take cybersecurity more cautiously and definitely work on a PR plan for if something like this, were to ever happen again. This next question is about my Lego sorting, and it's actually from Bricksar, so thank you Bricksar for your question. Have you found any interesting things you forgot you had while you were sorting your Lego collection? I honestly would say for the most part, I didn't really find anything crazy that I forgot I had while sorting. I did find a lot of parts that I didn't realize maybe necessarily Lego made, or like they were newer parts. When I was doing the sorting, I'd be like, where would I put this? Like, this is a newer part I haven't seen before, which is kind of fun. I did find some minifigure accessories that I purchased years ago at the Lego store that were just in a bin somewhere that I'm like, whoa, these are really cool parts. I definitely should use these in mocks and stuff like that. But I would say for the most part, sorting just helped me remember a lot of the things I have, and not necessarily interesting things, but just like cool things that I was like, oh yeah, I could use that part here, or I could use these minifigure accessories for this figure and stuff like that. It just helps you, re-go through your Lego collection and remember all the things that you have. So when you're building, you think of like, oh yeah, when I was sorting that a little while ago, I found this part that I thought would be cool. But the really interesting thing I did find, and I think you saw this video, was the Canada Post brick. So the Canada Post brick is actually something that I put over here in my Lego collection now, but it is basically this 1x6 brick that says Canada Post on it. This I found in a bin of Modulex Lego bricks that I bought in like 6-7 years ago now, and just never got it around to sorting or anything like that. And I may have known that the brick was in there when I bought the collection a few years ago, but I completely forgot about it. So when I did open up this bin that's way over here, way up there, when I did open up that bin and I found this brick, I was really, really excited because this was definitely the most interesting piece that I found while doing the sorting. But I would say for the most part, the rest of what I found through the entire sorting process wasn't anything crazy interesting. Like I mentioned, I did get to resort like all my minifigure parts, which was really fun because I got to find things that I just kind of forgot I had, or like just forgot Lego made. And of course, because Lego's been making a bunch of new pieces over the years and I haven't done a sort in like 3-4 years, a lot of those pieces that maybe I had in the collection that I just didn't know where to go, I just put them in that bottom bin there that said sort me, and when I opened them up, I was like, oh yeah, Lego made some pretty cool pieces. For example, like these ones, I know these aren't like super new, but just the 1x1 studs with holes in them, this is the first time I've ever had a spot for them in my Lego collection, so that was cool. And these 1x1s with these little holes there as well, these were the first time I ever had a spot for them in the collection, which was pretty nice. And yeah, for the most part, I don't think anything crazy interesting or anything like that because I pretty much knew what I had, but it was great to just go through everything again and remember what I have, get a little bit refresher, and it just kind of inspired me because I realized I have a lot of certain pieces. Lots of window frames. This one's so full I can barely open it, but yeah, it just helped me remember all these different parts, and it's like, wow, you could definitely do some cool building or something like that with these parts, and I clearly need to because this drawer is too full. But I feel if I did a massive sort of my entire Lego room, like every time I move, I feel like I find sets or minifigures that I forgot I had that I always find really interesting, but because I was just sorting the parts collection, nothing crazy, I would say, stood out. The next question is also about sorting as well. This is from Zoe Bowman 616. Ask Brick, can you do a parts tour after you get your entire Lego collection sorted? So like I just showed you a second ago, I'm actually really excited because earlier this week, I just actually finished sorting my Lego collection. So you guys will be able to expect to see the final Lego sorting video sometime soon. I just finished filming it and I just have to edit it and upload it now. But yes, I will absolutely do a full collection tour of the collection. Here's a little bit of a sneak preview. I have one empty drawer in this entire Papimax solution. So this is the first time that almost all of them have been full. So I maybe should get some more of them or something like that because that is pretty crazy. And then down here, all of these drawers are full as well. These were all reorganized. And I even added a lot of drawers here. So the Lego collection has really grown and it's changed quite a bit since I made my last part sorting tour video. So I will definitely be making an update very soon. You guys will have to stay tuned. But of course, here is just a little sneak preview of all the sorting that was done. I'm really excited to make that tour because I just spent the last like 2 or 3 or 4 months sorting the Lego collection again. I'm promising to myself that I'm not going to let it get this bad again, but I can't wait to make that parts tour and see, just like I'll watch the first one and then film the second one and just see how different it is because I am imagine it is pretty different. So very, very excited. You guys will get a very full tour. As soon as the sorting vlog is posted, I'll probably upload that video a few days after. This next question is about the tax man. I hate the tax man, but this is a good question for, especially for those of you in different countries who don't know. This one is from MTGoat1016. Ask Brick, what's the deal with this VAT/tax thing I keep hearing American Canadians talk about? For example, the Alpine Lodge is listed on the LEGO store for $129.99 Canadian. Is this the price you pay, or is tax added at checkout, and does it cost more than the $129.99? That's a great question. Let me break down tax for you. So I'm going to talk about tax here in Ontario because that's where I'm based out of, is Toronto, Ontario. However, the tax rate is different in every province and in every territory as well as every state if we're talking about America. So basically what the tax is for us, it is a 13% added amount to whatever I buy here in the province. It's a little bit different if on groceries and things like that, it's a little bit less, but basically goods and services, I am charged an extra 13% at checkout for the items. If I go to a LEGO store and pick up this I'll say $100 set just to make the math easy for me in my head. If I pick up a $100 set at the store, $99.99, I will be paying $113 for it by the time I leave the store. If I buy $1,000, I am paying an extra $130 on the set, and that's what the final price is. So any price you see on LEGO Shop at Home, you just know that here in Ontario, you're adding 13% to it. Some provinces here in Canada have like 5% tax, so you're only adding, $5 to a $100 purchase. Some states in the US have no taxes whatsoever. This is the same on LEGO, on like restaurants, for example. This one drives me nuts. If you go to a restaurant here in Canada and America and you spend, say, $10, your meal is $10, which is totally unrealistic now to what the price of food is, but say your meal is $10 on the menu. When you get your bill, your meal is going to be $11.30 because they added that 13% tax, but they're also going to be adding a tip. So your meal might end up costing you $15 even though the menu price said 10. I know when I go to Europe, I love it because the food price is like, say, 12 euros. That's the price. Food, and you can tip if you want to, but it's not mandatory. Here, if you don't tip, like, you're going to have an issue, but I know in certain places in Europe, tipping isn't mandatory. So your food is your food there is 12 euros and the menu price is 12 euros. It's awesome. Canada is like a guessing game, and same with America. You're always adding all this extra stuff. So you're thinking, wow, my bill is only 20 bucks. Like, that's not bad. Next thing you know, your bill is 35. Like, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, we do have this tax here, and yeah, so basically the price that you see on the LEGO store website in the LEGO store, that is not the final price I'll be paying for that model because they're adding 13% sales tax to the end of it. And again, it depends on the state. Some states, 13% I think is one of the highest tax rates. I know in like Halifax, which is another province in Canada, that is 15%, so it's quite a bit more. But then as I said, some provinces are 5%, some states are 12%, 8%, 1%, like who knows what they all are. It kind of varies. I know I love going to Brixie's home province of Alberta because the tax there is quite a bit lower. So he gets to pay a little bit less for his LEGO than I pay for the exact same set, even though we are in Canada. But yeah, tax is really annoying because they charge tax on everything you buy, and then they charge tax on everything you make. So I get paid, $100 from my job, then their government's taking like 40, okay, great, and then they're taking another 13% when I buy whatever I buy. So the taxes, man, and the government is getting lots of my money, but it is what it is, and I guess we need it for a functioning society. But that's basically the lowdown. That's the lore on taxes here in Canada. All right, so I think I only have time for one more question today. This one is from SFS Tips. Ask Brick, what would happen if LEGO were to retire the LEGO City, Technic, Architecture, or Creator themes? So I would say those are all pretty staple themes in the community that I don't think we'll need to worry about. With the exception of architecture, I could see them getting rid of that theme, but the rest of them, I don't think that would happen. If they were to get rid of Creator, for example, whether it be Creator 3-in-1, or I guess it's not Creator Expert, they moved that into LEGO Icons. But I guess they did get rid of the Creator Experts line and they just rebranded it into another theme. If they got rid of like the Creator 3-in-1, I just can't imagine they would do it because I think those are very popular sets. City, I know they would find a way to redo those sets somewhere else. And Technic, again, that's such a unique theme. I guess that one, if they wanted to stop producing those elements, they would get rid of that theme. And I think for the most part, like, those are all themes that people love, but they're pretty entry-level themes except for Technic. You know, architecture, I don't know. Like, they're all, when I say entry-level, I mean all of those themes you mentioned. I don't see any LEGO fans like so passionate about them that that's the only reason they're in the hobby. There's a lot of people that only collect Star Wars. There's a lot of people that only collect, like, you know, adults and icons and stuff, the modular line, like things like that. Superheroes, but there's not people that I know of that are like solely city collectors or solely creator tech like collectors or solely Technic or solely architecture. Like, they might like those sets and they might buy them. Like, I have a few of each of those lines here in my LEGO collection somewhere, but those aren't the only themes that people collect. So if they did get discontinued, I imagine people would, LEGO would find other themes and other areas to put similar sets, and I imagine the community would just buy sets from other themes as well. Like, personally for me, if City was discontinued right now, I don't buy a lot of City sets anyway. I just think they're really expensive and overpriced for what you get, so I wouldn't be too upset. Technic, I also don't really get a lot of. Architecture, I'd be a little disappointed with, but LEGO's been really lacking on releasing architecture sets recently anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised. And again, same thing, creator are ones that I like. Sometimes I pick them up, but I wouldn't be devastated. So those 4 themes in particular, I just don't think captivate enough of the LEGO audience to create like a massive outcry. If LEGO announced tomorrow that they're discontinuing like Marvel or Star Wars or some of those other themes, like, people would lose their minds, and you actually might lose people in the LEGO hobby. You might lose collectors, but those themes there, I don't think anything crazy would happen. I think there'd be a little disappointment, and I think LEGO would just find ways to put those sets in other themes and do something else with that money, but I don't think it would be a crazy outcry. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for checking out today's episode of Ask Brick. I really hope you enjoyed all the questions I was able to answer here today on video. I had a lot of fun doing these and talking about everything from BrickLink to sorting my LEGO collection, and I can't wait to continue this discussion on more with you. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching today's video, and I'm looking forward to see you here in the next one.